Hello YouTube, what's going on? Matt Kennedy here. Happy April 26th, happy Tuesday. We're doing a special video kind of talking about being a baseball umpire. Um, Not the longest video, probably between 8 and 9 minutes. I just feel like it's a fun video to let you guys know what it's like to be an umpire. Um, I really feel like it's a lot different when you are an umpire versus a coach or a player or a fan perspective. I really feel like it's a really good job because if you don't mind being outside, if you are very outgoing, you can talk to the coaches, talk to the players. If you definitely know sports, even if you don't know sports, you can still hypothetically learn the sport, but it's going to be a lot easier if you've been playing sports or knowing sports your whole life. And then it's really just knowing the minute rules, like maybe some balks here and there or something for baseball and all that stuff. But typically, what is known around the officiating community is when you do football, the hardest thing as a referee is holding. When you do basketball, the toughest thing is going to be out of bounds. If the last touch was on this player, that player, off the fingertips, what do you call for a charging versus a blocking foul? And then for baseball, soccer's offsides. And then I would say for baseball, it's definitely going to be the balks. I really honestly, and also the strike zone, obviously, because, yeah, you say, shoulders to knees, but then when you go and actually do it, it's like, where was that pitch? And a big part of being, an umpire is definitely selling the call. And also, I got to lay the framework here. This is my second year. I'm going into my second year umpiring baseball. So, I'm 21 years old. I'm definitely a younger guy. So I'm not, it's not like I've been doing baseball my whole life. I mean, I'm only 21 years old. So I feel like I played baseball when I was younger, but nothing serious. I feel like if I know any sport the most, it'd be football. But even with football, it's a lot different. Just because you know the game of football and then some of the rules you might think, it's still very difficult, even though you know what pass interference is, even though you know what this foul is or this penalty, whatever. When you're actually refereeing, it's a lot harder to actually see everything what's going on at once. That's why in football there's 4 referees in 4 different parts of the field. But the one thing I'll say for baseball is definitely the strike zone is, oh my gosh, it is insanely difficult. You just have to just pick something and be consistent with it. So another thing that I feel like for baseball umpiring that gets me is obviously the coaches, obviously the fans. I never really had any players give me any shit. I feel like I had 2 or 3 bad coaches in my experience, but again, I've only been doing it for over a year. This is gonna be my second summer. I'm not really that experienced. I can't really talk from experience, but I honestly just feel like the coaches, the worst thing I'll see is just, oh god, there was a 14-year-old tournament, 14-year-olds, like they're in 8th grade, right? And you really think about it, it was a tournament, and I get it was a tournament, but these were the games for your seed. So you're playing the games just for the seeding, right? And then the next day is the actual tournament. It's kind of like a play-in tournament. So all 6 teams were playing that day just to see what your seed is. And then the next day the tournament starts. And there was one coach where when they walked in, you just knew they were the shit. I'm not going to give any names. I highly doubt they're watching the video anyway, because, I mean, come on. But still, you just know, he had the shades on, he had the uniform on, the assistant coaches, they looked like they were serious. I mean, this is 14U baseball, but they go out there like they're Major League Baseball players. And that's because, first of all, this is club baseball. So it's like, it is travel baseball, but it's more prestigious. They have like indoor academies, indoor facilities. Like these players are probably paying $1,000 plus to be on this team for the whole year. For the indoor facility, the practice they're going to get better at baseball, to practice for high school baseball, the amount of tournaments they're going to be playing in, which costs money, the regular season games, other stuff, the traveling costs. So there's the uniforms, which are prestigious. Other things that make part of the team makes it pretty expensive, right? So I get it. Like, these are some nicer teams for being 14 years old, but I still feel like, just being an umpire, like, I'm doing my best with the strike zone. Like, when you're batting, let's say you're batting, right? When the pitch comes at shoulders, like this is like the shoulder level, right? When it comes at the shoulder level, it's harder than you think to hit at shoulder level. So really, when we say shoulders to the knees, an experienced umpire last year, his name was Scott, he told me that really you're supposed to go about the breastbone. So a little bit below the shoulders. So if it's like shoulders, I don't call it. If it's a little bit below, I kind of have to call it. Because like, there's got to be some kind of high zone, right? Or there's got to be some kind of max, right? So same with the low pitch. If it's knees, like it's so difficult because you just got to just pick something and just keep with it. And if the ball is off the plate, it's off the plate. Like, if you have a plate, like we'll say this is the plate, right? If the ball comes in, like this is off the plate, right? This is the plate, right? If it skims the plate, it's a strike. But if the ball comes in and it goes off the plate, you're not really supposed to call that. But depending on the age group, if it's this much off the plate, you might want to call it a strike because it's that close. Typically, if it's definitely like off the plate or even like a whole baseball off the plate, I'm not going to call it. It's off the plate, not a strike. I'm staying consistent, right? Even an inside pitch, same thing, right? Both corners, right? And I had a coach. It was last week. I was doing a tournament for these 14-year-olds. It was that one team that was being very serious and stuff. What made them serious? And I don't mean serious as in like they were like like ready to go. They were serious as in like they're gonna talk shit. Not really in like a bitch way, but like in a way where like they'll just say comments like, hey, inside corner, or like like sarcastic remarks, like, hey, like, okay, I can't give the name of the coach, but he'll say things like, hey, have you heard of the inside corner? Things like that. Or one of the assistant coaches came over in a half inning and they were like, hey, by the way, you missed a call. He was off the bag. Like they just say stuff like, and it's like, it doesn't really affect me because I know I'm going to make a mistake here and there. And that's a big thing that I learned being an umpire is it really is tough. Like when people say stuff like, oh, what a bad call, or you would have called that for the other team, I bet that parent couldn't do half as good. So it's like parents can say all they want. I've had a parent tell me I was brushing off the plate, and this was last year. Their team got like killed for reasons that weren't even my fault. And then since they were losing big, they were looking for some bailout calls, and I didn't give them. I mean, maybe I should have gave them a strike or two that was just being lenient. But I was trying to be consistent the whole game. It was off the plate a bit, and it wasn't just a little bit. Like, it was a little bit off the plate, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to call it, whatever. And they were giving me some bitch remarks, whatever. And, what happened after the game was I was wiping the plate off, and, there was a mom, because, her son's spoiled. And she said things like, That's all you know how to do is to wipe off the plate, Blue. That's what she said. She had the nerve. She had the nerve to go, hey, Blue, that's all you know how to do is wipe off the plate, don't you? Think about that. She had the nerve to say that. And last year, I was a little bit younger. I was 20 years old. Probably looked like I was like 18 maybe. I mean, right now I'm 21. I probably look like I'm like 19 maybe, 18. 2-3 years younger and stuff. And it's like, I literally look like a teenager. I look like I'm 18, 19 years old. And that lady had the nerve to say that. I feel like it also works both ways. Like, if you're a really old person and you're an older umpire, first of all, you probably shouldn't be umpiring at that old age, like 60 years old-ish plus. But I have seen some older umpires. People have the nerve to say that to someone, like a senior citizen. Like, I could see if I had a really bad game, but hey, lady, your team got killed. That's not my fault. How about you throw strikes and stop making errors? I know the video's 11 minutes, but I'll try to finish up here a couple more minutes. But, you know, it's like the toughest part definitely is balks. It definitely is the balks because it's so subtle and so quick. I'm still learning that stuff. It is tough, but I really just think it's like I'm doing my best. And that's all you can do. I feel like the coaches, especially at some of those prestigious levels where it's like travel baseball, they'll act like it is high school varsity. Though, you know, high school varsity, I can see the coaches getting into it because, like, it kind of is, like, kind of serious, I guess. You are playing for a state title. 14-year-old baseball, though, like, it's almost high school. Like, these kids are 1 year from high school and stuff. But, like, I get it. But at the same point, like, when you make the, like, first of all, your team's already winning. That Dick team, they were already winning. And they just get greedy. And it's like the coach just, hey, have you heard of an inside corner? You know, I didn't argue back. Because when you're an umpire, you can't give them too much attention. If it gets too out of control or if it gets personal, if they say, hey, look, you're the worst ump I had ever, there I might I'm gonna call it time and go talk to him a little bit. If he says, hey, you're a fucking loser, I have to actually just throw him out of the game. They taught us that, and it's a loose rule, it's a gray area of the book, when they get personal, that's when you have to toss them. They can say all they want, that's a strike, they can say, hey, that's foul, not fair, but when they say, you're fucking blind, you can fucking toss them right away because they're making it personal. It is your discretion, though. But, you know, I have not thrown anyone out yet. My partner did, though. I was behind the home plate, and I did call strike 3 at the shoulders, and he said it was at the eyes. Bullshit. It was not the eyes. I would know if it was the eyes. So it's like, yes, the shoulders is kind of high, like I explained earlier in the video, but some coaches, they'll just say whatever they want. Coaches, I can kind of see it. The parents is where I just lose it. Like, there was a parent that yelled at the tournament, you would have called that for the other team. Like, yeah, I really would have, right? Like, I'm here to rig it. Like, these parents just say shit. I just laugh at it because they can't do anything about it. Like unless I really don't know what I'm doing. If I make one bad call, it happens. If I make 5 bad calls, okay, that is kind of sus. But if I make 1 or 2 bad calls a game, I'm gonna get shit for it. Grow up. It's part of the game. It's human error. You know, when you're a fucking student in school and you really, really know algebra, you really, really know geometry, you really, really know, you know, geology, when you take a test on that subject, you're still going to miss some questions. Just because you're a professional, just because you're a straight A student, you're not going to get every question right. You're not going to get every call right being an umpire. So it's like these parents, I just laugh now. Because it's like, dude, at the end of the day, I'm sorry, but this is not MLB. Like, yes, I am an umpire, and this is a job, and I am a professional, I guess, but I'm also not like a professional. Like, if I was doing varsity high school, which I don't do, if I were to do college or MLB baseball or college baseball, dude, that's serious. Like, if I miss a really bad call, parents can say all they want, like, with a limit. They might be able to say a comment or two, because it's the MLB, it's NCAA, it's college baseball, like, or it's really good varsity baseball. Like, those umps should be good to match that level of play. But when we see these 14-year-olds or even 15-year-old travel, right, for summer baseball, right, because summer there's no high school baseball. When we see these 14, even 13-year-old baseball, and when we see these coaches or these or the worst that I had, there was a fan that actually came up to me after the game, not directly. He didn't like come up to me, but we passed paths, and he literally said, "You got a lot of work to do, buddy." And it was my first year last year. I wanted to turn around and say, "Hey, look, buddy, it's my first year. How were you in your first year of school? How were you in your first year of your job? How would you do if you were in your first year of umpire?" And that was 14, 15-year-old travel. It wasn't like 12-year-old. So it was kind of an older group, 14, 15-year-olds. It was kind of like a serious atmosphere. It was a tournament too. But like, really? You really had the nerve to say to someone? And the reason why I didn't talk back to him, I just took it and just walked away, because I'm better than that. I don't give fans attention unless they make it seriously personal. You're a fucking asshole. At that point, I'd say, time, you're ejected. And literally, I kid you not, the umpire has every right. If a fan says it to me, I'm not going to have that. You get seriously personal with me, you cross the line, especially for a kid baseball game. I don't care if they're 14, 15, they're still a kid teenager. High school, that's high school, it's a little more serious, whatever. 14, 15-year-olds, dude, middle school, fuck off. That, like, I don't care what, I don't care if it's the best club baseball ever, dude. I don't give a shit. I'm not a professional. I'm a professional, but I'm not, like, top of the line umpire. So stop acting like I have to be top of the line. I just don't know where the fun is anymore. I think everyone has to win nowadays, and it just pisses me off. I don't know, man. Like, for me, it does pay pretty good. You might get like 70 or 75 a game. It's really, really good for games being like 2 hours, let alone it could be a mercy rule for an hour and a half game. So for 75, 70 bucks, I'm getting like 35 an hour. It's a pretty good job. But you have to put up with all the bullshit. For me, I'm full of shit sometimes. I'll take this shit. You want to put on a show? You want to put on a drama? Sure. Let's have a little show, coach. I'm ready for it. There's no coach, no fan, no player that can bring me down. Unless they punch me, of course, which they'll beat me because I'm skinny. But, like, if you punch me, I'm going to fucking, like, you can't, like, that's assault. So, like, verbally, they can't do anything. You can call, oh, you're a fucking asshole. I have the power. I'll throw out the game. I'm not going to throw you out, though, unless you seriously cross the line. And I think some parents, it's not what they say, it's the nerve to say it. It's amazing what parents do nowadays. Karens, if you will. I'm gonna let you guys go, take care, but that's something to say about it. More videos to come for umpiring baseball, but it's actually a really good job. I really enjoy it. It's nighttime, 1 game a day, $70 a day. Have some fun. Bye, guys. Take care and adios.